Yeah. All night.
And the trick is, you always have to do it parody.
Yeah. Right.
Then you're covered.
Why did
Hello, coffee, my old friend.
the Restream gave me a weird thing? I put the welcome to the show, right? It sent one Twitch notification, one YouTube notification that didn't go through, and one YouTube notification that did.
Well, good thing it sent two.
I guess so, yeah.
Send the boss pigeons.
Which is up.
I think sound good.
Seems to be up.
Hello, hello,
Hello.
Oh, excuse me. Goodness gracious. Ah,
And all the notifications.
glad y'all are here.
Don't choke on that coffee. Coffee is meant for good things.
Ad time. Ad time.
If you are a loved one, it's
I'm about to say it's ad time.
unironically would love if we get sponsored by a company where I had to read it like that.
Oh man.
All right. That's all sent out. Now I do have a pre-show topic for you tonight.
Excellent.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah. We'll work on it. I have a little stiff neck. But it's all right. It's all right.
That's not good at all.
You'll be all right.
My pre-show topic for you is that Warner Bros. Discovery put out an announcement about 2 hours ago, maybe 3, that they hope to turn The Lord of the Rings into a franchise like Star Wars. I will.
I'm sure they do. Okay. You decided you asked, so here it is.
Yeah.
Think about Lord of the Rings. What do you like how it's set up?
Right.
Most people are going to think 3 books, right?
Mhm.
3 movies, 3 books. It is 6 books. He actually wrote it as 6 books that he meant to sell in one huge volume.
Right.
But it's like this little thing happened. What was it called? World War II.
Yep.
That and there were some shortages and stuff. So the publishers after that were like, "Hey, we're just gonna do 3 volumes." He was like, "Fine with it," and he didn't really like the name Return of the King. He didn't come up with that. But it should be. They could do 6 movies. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I would watch them.
I understand, man. Sunburn is not fun. Yeah, 6 movies would have been interesting. You sent a stick and it didn't go through. Oh no.
Why? Water would be nice. Oh, what happened?
That's not good.
But if it's good, I would love for that to happen.
Yeah. Sticker.
I'd like to go see it. Yeah.
I wonder if... See, that's what it's supposed to do on stream. It's supposed to show like the name of the sticker or the emoji or whatever you use. That's what it's supposed to do from the YouTube side. And the Twitch side, you get to actually see it because whoever codes Restream chatbot prefers Twitch, I guess. I don't know.
Blame this
Which,
on the
they don't talk to each other the same. That's they have different. It's a complicated, different relationship.
Yeah. Yes, the announcements from Triggerfire are working again tonight. So,
all right.
Thankfully.
Excellent. Down a little bit.
I
can look into it. I can see you. We're looking. All right.
Guess what I forgot to bring inside today? My laptop. So I don't have it for the docket. So you just have to put up with me, chat. Be looking to the left instead of down.
Looking to the left. Looking to the left. To the left. All right. Fine,
yeah.
then.
It's unfortunate, Jewel. I wish it worked better.
Yeah. And this is one I do believe that we can safely lay the blame at their feet, not ours.
Yep. This time it's not me.
So that's one. That's one.
What am I changing it to, Roxanne? I was just about to ask. I saw it come through the activity feed.
what are we doing here?
You're you are now Laurent for the rest of the stream. I don't know if you saw that last week or not.
What? Not what?
Laurent was with me last week for the
Yeah,
Tuesday show,
Yeah.
and Will changed his name to Rungren on stream.
I was replaced by a cat. Probably did a better job than me too. That's all
So
right.
no, he attacked me. He full on attacked me at one point during the middle of the stream.
That would get views.
Yeah, yeah.
That would get views.
Pokemon fairy tales. Look, I'm all for the idea of. Joel pointed out. We'll talk about it again when we talk about Pokemon Presents in a little bit. But Joel pointed out where the inspiration for one of the new Pokemon is from, and that's pretty cool. I'm stoked for that.
Okay.
I think Rugger is just finally transformed. He's an Animorph. He can turn into a cat and back again.
No. Oh my gosh. Please. That's ridiculous.
I remember
I gotta lick
Animorphs.
myself. Do you think I'd be on this podcast?
Yeah, they are pretty cool.
All right.
You ready to kick off the main show?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Change this to this. And hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the Full Spectrum Podcast. My name is Trey.
I'm Run. No, I'm not. I'm Lawrence.
That's right. I was going to say. Oh. And if you're... There's the Kira cry. There's the Kira cry. If... Rugrat as a cat? Yeah. Hold up both hands as a cat. Also, I love that the Kira cry this time popped up over my face in the middle of the intro. Cat Rugrat you have is adorable. I'm glad. I'm completely thrown off the intro as normal. Yeah, we got some stuff to talk about tonight. Retake.
Yeah.
But just a quick heads up. If you're watching and you're like, why is Rungren's name Laurent on the stream? Well, that's because you missed the pre-show, and during the pre-show, points were redeemed on Twitch to change Rungren's name. If you're watching on YouTube, we're glad you're here. I wish I could give you all the things that people can do on Twitch. I really, really, truly do, but I don't have the capabilities to do it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But on the Twitch side, we do have a bunch of stuff that can be done. So maybe just ask, because your comments come up too. If you want something done and you can't do it because you can only watch on YouTube, just ask, and I'm sure somebody like Will, who's a gazillionaire of channel points, will accommodate you. But Kira throwing everybody off their game. Yep.
Right.
Yep. Just another quick announcement real quick, just throwing that out there. From the 9th? I have it written down. Let me double check. Yeah, he's at 44K. From the 9th through the 17th, I will not be here. I'll be on my honeymoon, so there won't be any streams from me. Rungren might still stream, but that's up to him. That is not a hard and fast rule here.
I may just be sitting on my computer right here waiting for him to call me. Like, why aren't we doing anything? Where are you, dude?
Someone needs to sit for you or sulk. I'm sure someone will accommodate that for you. In fact, we're going to get to the point where people on YouTube are going to do the command just so somebody on Twitch does it. All right. But before we move too much further into this, we do have a pop quiz tonight, I'm told.
Yes.
Rugger we on stream is nothing but a cat.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. So, nice pop quiz. It's about the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Oh, okay.
All right.
I have not kept up with recent seasons, but I used to watch them.
No.
Just Mighty Morphin.
Just Mighty Morphin.
Okay.
Yeah. No. Just that one, all right?
Yeah. I should play straight.
That will start off. So, there you go. So, who was the leader of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers?
This is a trick question. American Cat is a stand-in if we ever need it. Rundgren VTuber model?
That's disturbing.
This is a trick question because the answer is either Jason or Zordon. I'm gonna go with, because Tommy was also leader for a little while after he joined. I'm gonna go with Jason.
Jason Lee Scott was the original leader of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. All right, all right.
Ooh, I also have to not read chat right now. Chat, I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm gonna put this bottle in front of you. It's a bottle of I can't show the brand, but it's a bottle of juice. It's not a bottle of alcohol.
So, what were the names of the 5 original Rangers, the 5 original Mighty Morphin?
It was Jason, Kimberly, Billy, Trini, and Zach.
Very good. All right, all right. So, what was the name of the villain who served as the main antagonist in the first season of the show?
The villain in the first season who served the main antagonist.
What was the name of the villain who served as the
okay. So that was Lord Zed and Rita Repulsa, specifically Rita Repulsa in season 1.
Rita Repulsa is correct. That was season 1. There you go. There you go. See, so we're on question 4 now. So, who played the character of Tommy, the Green Ranger, in the original?
Tommy was played by Jason David Frank.
Very good. Yes, sir. That's correct.
Rest in peace.
What? What? What were the names of the Zords that combined to form the Megazord?
Oh man, okay. They had a name. Are you talking about their individual names or like their?
Yeah. What was the name of the Zords?
Okay, it was the Tyrannosaurus.
Tyrannosaurus, yeah.
Yeah. Mastodon.
That's a good one.
Pterodactyl, saber-tooth tiger, and Triceratops.
All right, all right. You got him. All right. Now, let's see. So, what was the name of the Power Rangers mentor and guide?
It was Zordon.
Very good. Very good. All right.
I thought that might have been a trick question. You were going to say Alpha.
Which Power Ranger was known for his or her love of hip-hop music?
Hip-hop was Zach.
Yes. If you just said the Black Ranger, I would have discredited it.
No, it's Zach.
Yeah.
Because Adam did not like hip-hop, and he was the second Black Ranger. Played by Johnny Young Bosch.
Nice. So, what was the name of the high school where they attended, huh?
Oh, it was Angel Grove High School.
Oh, man. You're doing good. You're doing good. All right. So, yeah, what was the name of the Power Rangers arch enemy in the second season of the show?
That was Lord Zed.
Look at him. Number 10. What was the name of the evil clone of the Green Ranger that was created by Rita Repulsa?
Evil clone.
What was the name of the evil clone of the Green Ranger that was created by Rita Repulsa?
I want to say it was something really dumb, like Dark Tommy.
That's fair enough. Well, I understand. No. You're gonna miss this one and go all the way and bomb at the end.
I know. I can't think of like what else it would be other than just.
Well, just like when the pressure's on, you just, blow it.
Clone Green Ranger, like
the evil clone.
Oh, it's no. It was. They had a name, like it was the name of the special episode as well. I don't remember. I'm gonna have to pass. I don't remember.
Okay, well you missed one. The evil clone of the Green Ranger created by Rita Repulsa was named the evil Green Ranger.
I knew it was something like that. I knew it.
That was my favorite question.
That's why I was like Dark Tommy. All
Yeah,
right, let me
well.
catch up on chat here real quick.
Uh, there you know.
Also, this is just for me. It wasn't an answer to it, but Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is based on Jew Ranger. Juden Sentai Jew Ranger.
Yeah, we're gonna leave that alone.
It's not as good as Mighty Morphin, in my opinion, which is weird because most of the Sentai seasons are better than the Power Ranger series, but Jew Ranger is rough.
Well, all the battles were Sentai. All the fighting was.
Yeah. It's just, look, as cheesy as Mighty Morphin can be, when that cheese is better than 4 episodes of Jew Red just running around the city doing nothing.
Look, there's some messed up stuff in Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Lord Zed, right? Yeah,
Yep.
he's been skinned.
Yep.
And then had metal put on it. That's disturbing.
Yep.
There's something wrong with that.
Pokemon DLC had Sentai. Yeah, it did. It did. I saw those.
All right. Well, you got a 90.
Evil
An A.
Green Ranger. Come on.
Sloppy.
Come on. I almost said Mean Green Ranger. And I was like, nah, that's too dumb. It can't be that.
Yes.
Turns out.
Turns out.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
let's go into weeks.
All right.
How's your
All
week
right.
been, Rungert?
It's been all right. I got a show to tell you about. It's on Netflix. It's called Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities,
Okay.
and I really enjoyed it. Seeing the first season.
Yeah.
It is classic TV, but it's on Netflix. Okay.
Okay.
It's in line with like Tales of the Crypt and Creep Show, which you go back further, you get like Twilight Zone and Ray Bradbury Presents,
Yeah.
right? Where they come out and each episode, right on, Will. Each episode is a completely different story.
Yeah.
And he has a completely different director. But he does the whole thing. Guillermo del Toro comes out at the beginning and kind of gives a little, like a synopsis
Yeah.
of the setting of what's going on. Kind of just like if you've seen the Twilight Zone when Rod Serling would come out,
Yeah.
Well, man, he kind of gives you that idea,
Or
kinda sets it up.
Jonathan Frakes and Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Yeah, doing that, kind of doing that, just the beginning
Yeah.
of it right there. And of course, these are all obviously fictional stories,
Right.
all horror stories, and a few of them are quite disturbing. But I think I like it a little more than I should because it feels like Tales from the Crypt
Sure.
or Creep Show. Like it really does.
Yeah.
Do that. They do a good job. It's like what was a newer one? The newest one, I guess Goosebumps was a little bit like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess that would have been
obviously a younger audience,
right.
But yeah, it's kind of like that. Yeah, but obviously a much more
Right.
gory everything, and it covers everything. They cover a lot of the good classic horror stuff, and
Okay.
it's pretty gory in some parts, but it is really really entertaining. And another cool thing is you will recognize, as a lesson. I don't know. I understand having it, but
Yeah, it's not fun.
that's why I don't go outside.
I don't blame you.
Sorry. Oh my goodness. But I forgot where I was going. Oh, the actors. You'll recognize a lot. Like they've got some people who normally do comedies.
Yeah.
They're in a serious part, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
But I would highly recommend it.
Okay.
Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities.
Cabin of Curiosity.
Yeah, it's a cool show.
Okay.
Well, I didn't do much, but how was your week, sir?
It's been Pretty good. Been a lot of like little things. I played a lot of demos, and so like there'll be a bunch of videos coming out with demos. I tried the Forspoken demo. I kind of hated it. Not for the reason I expected.
Yeah.
I expected the dialogue to be what I didn't like about it. As it turns out, no, it just, I didn't find it very fun. Wasn't that enjoyable to play. The movement is kind of cool, but it has that Assassin's Creed parkour problem of you'll just keep going up stuff you don't want to go up. And then the combat just doesn't feel great. Like at one point, I unlocked the ability to summon fire soldiers, 2 fire soldiers to back me up.
Yeah.
And I summoned them, and they just kind of ran around. And every once in a while, they'd punch an enemy for like a 20th of their health.
Okay.
It was like, okay, yeah.
5 good punches.
Yeah.
5 good punches. That's all I need.
But I don't know. It looks really cool. It looks really flashy. I don't like the basic movement, and I don't like the basic gameplay. Yeah, that's what I've heard, is that the game itself gets worse. But
That that's comforting. That's good news.
there was some good times to be had there. But not for me.
Well, does it have like I kind of think of long. There was a Matrix game. I forgot what it's called. It wasn't the MMO when they tried to get going or whatever. But they had it had when you fought, it was kind of but it was kind of easy to do a hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah.
But it looked really cool with all the movements in it.
Right.
And then you got like Assassin's Creed, like you were talking about, where you got some really cool moves in. But once you hit that point,
Yeah.
you're kind of doing that move.
Yeah.
And even, and it's not. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I think Batman, maybe like the Arkham games.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all about the counters.
Yeah, kind of has that same feel to it. And there's a balance with there where it feels like it's like, am I? You're not moving exactly with me.
Right.
On that, sometimes that the slide maybe.
Almost. Yeah. Almost.
Yeah. Okay.
Ultimately, the combat feels to me like just running around and throwing things at people till they die, or getting into melee and just slashing things until they die. And there's no real impact with anything except for the combat finishers. That's the only time that the enemies even stagger, is when, like, I'm just in their face slashing away at this crocodile, and it's just taking it and doing nothing. Well, there might be.
What are you trying to do? Make boots?
Right.
Why are we trying to do a crocodile?
Speaking of good action RPGs, action games, I also played the Like a Dragon Ishin demo.
Okay.
And it's just a combat demo. They specifically call it the combat demo. That combat's super fun. I mentioned the cards before, and that Neanders was going to be one of them. Remember that was weird? The cards are not tied to a separate thing like I originally thought. They are 100% tied to combat as well. Because the cards are like special abilities you can use that then recharge. You still have your basic combat system with all the like 4 styles and all the different moves in that, but your cards have their own individual like ability you can use. One of them is a hyperdimensional sword. One of them is the ability to pull things in with a black hole. One of them is just a Kamehameha wave.
All are handy. All handy.
One of them is a dance where the enemies start dancing with you, and while you're Hare Hare Yukaiing, you get HP back. Okay. You can summon a Shiba Inu to distract your enemies for you with how cute it is.
Okay.
This game's cool.
You got options. You got options is what you're telling me.
And then your 4 styles are basic samurai sword, right?
Right.
Sword and wakizashi and offhand pistol.
Okay.
Main hand pistol, you just got a gun.
Right. Okay.
And then unarmed combat.
I will beat you.
The only problem I have with it so far is there's not a lock on. Maybe there is in the full game. Maybe I just didn't know what button because there's no tutorial. It just throws you in and goes figure it out.
Not soft lock or anything.
Nothing. So maybe
You just swinging wild and hoping to hit something.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
run through, swinging the sword crazy and stuff.
You kind of just get in front of them and start swinging, you know? It was just a re-release, King, but then they added more stuff to it.
Like cards.
Right, like the cards.
I don't know if they did
And
or not.
what's really cool is the cards aren't just cards with cool abilities. They're also characters from the story, I'm assuming. But because this game is a spinoff of the original games, it's cards that are characters you know from the other games. They have different names here, right? But it means that at one point I summoned Shinada from Yakuza 5, Like a Dragon 5, I guess now. And then I got to summon Ichiban from Yakuza Like a Dragon, which is Like a Dragon 7, I guess. I'm still struggling with the name convention changes, but it was just really cool to be like, help me out, Ichiban, I need your backup, man, I'm struggling.
I wonder if the reason it has cards now is because they didn't get the NFTs out in time.
It could be. It could be.
Put them in the game.
Yeah, it is. It is a lot like Yakuza Kiwami. And it is really weird that they didn't say, hey, here's a bunch of the cool new stuff. Because they did say, hey, here's this card system is new and cool, but they never said you use them in combat. They just said we're going to be adding these cards, which led us all to believe it's just a collectible cards you can use. No, it's moves.
Like or something like that.
Yeah. So one of them is just the hyperdimensional sword. It's all right. So it was really fun. They also added armor in this game that the other games don't have, where enemies will have, like big boss enemies or tough enemies will have armor gauges, and you have to burn through that armor first before you can hit their health. And it makes them really tough. Guns don't do much damage to armor, but do a lot of damage to health. So, gotta balance it around, you know? But it's fun. I like it. And the last demo that I played is Wolong Fallen Dynasty, which is weird. It's a weird game. And again, all three of these videos will be going up within the next few weeks, so you'll be able to see those for anybody that wants to see my live reactions to this stuff. But Wolong Fallen Dynasty is like a Neo or a... It's a lot like a Neo or a Souls-like, but it feels a little slower, a little more sluggish. And it's set during the Yellow Turban Rebellion.
Okay.
And there's a morale mechanic.
Well, yeah.
Where you build up morale as you fight individual enemies. But you're not like leading an army or anything, and you're not like Cao Cao or Yuan Shao. You're just a guy.
Right.
And I like it. I wish it didn't feel so slow. I wish it was a little bit more fast. Even with the twin swords, it felt pretty slow. The boss fight in the demo is a 2-stage boss fight, where the first stage, I just staggered him to death. Twin swords just kept attacking him until he died. And then the second phase, he just destroyed me, killed me almost instantly. I think there's a good balance there that it doesn't quite hit. And then the magic in there is cool. There's some really interesting wizardry, as they call it, which is a weird name to use for that time frame, because that's not what they called it. But he got revenge. He did. The wizardry is cool. It's really interesting the way that you use it, because you build up a spirit gauge as you melee attack enemies, and you can spend that spirit gauge, or you can spend it when you have no spirit, and it brings you into like spirit negative, because that's also your block gauge. It's a cool way to do it, where you can't block if you overtax your magic, but if you get some good melee hits in, then you can use your magic. The problem is, in the demo, you can see the end of the magic trees. You can see the stuff you're going to get at the end.
Yeah.
It just doesn't look worth it. Why would I spec into magic when the final ability I get at level 40 with the water magic is the ability to rain icicles down, when at level 1 I get the ability to call lightning from the sky? And that doesn't hit all the time because enemies move.
Well, how big are these icicles?
They're not much bigger than a bolt of lightning, unfortunately.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's a cool idea. I just feel like it needs some more iteration to really shine.
Fair enough.
But who knows? Maybe the full game feels better. I know Dark was doing a review on it. I haven't got to see Dark's review yet, but
Okay.
I'm interested in seeing Dark's review because this is a game that I could easily see myself putting more time into. Like a Dragon Ishin, that's not a question. I have to play that game. That was far too much fun, right? Forspoken, not a question. I'm not going to play that game. I hated my time with it. This game, I had fun, but my list of problems is bigger than my list of positives.
Fair enough.
So maybe worth it, but right now it just doesn't seem like it to me.
Like, they've almost got it.
Yeah,
right?
almost.
Oh, they've almost got it there. They can polish it off a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
then you'd definitely be good to go.
Yeah, then they got me.
Okay.
I also this is a weird behind the scenes thing because I've recorded part of this video and have not finished it. That's not how that's spelled. I started recording a Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous first impressions.
Yeah.
I say started because I stopped. I got to the point where it was like, hey, there's 15 minutes till podcast time to when I call you for the podcast. I'm going to go ahead and stop here. I was not at a good stopping point for the first impression, so I'll just go back and do more, probably after the podcast. But I kind of don't like it. And so I have half a mind to start that first impressions back with a different setting. So it defaults to action mode, where all your characters move at the same time, and you can pause the game with space, and then you command everybody, and then they go. And I think I'm going to change it to turn-based mode, because I went through like the whole process of making a character. It uses Pathfinder 1E rules, which I don't know. I made my character, made a cavalier, because I was under the impression that I could ride beasts, because there's a beast rider specialization. And I was like, oh, sick. It is ad time. I'm going to take this time to turn up my fan in here because it's getting hot.
It was I could tell spring was coming today.
Yeah. Yeah. But I made my character a beast rider cavalier, and I was like, oh, sick. Because one of the options was a triceratops. Like, man, this is going to rule. Riding a triceratops around?
Yes.
However, it doesn't tell you in character creation that you can only ride a beast that's one size larger than you. So I have to wait until it levels up to level 7 and becomes a large creature before I can ride it. So my spec is worthless until level 7, basically.
Okay.
Everything I took was for mounted combat.
Level 7.
Right, then it's going to be cool. But
it would be awesome.
With the action combat, where everybody just attacks all at once, I don't feel worthless. I don't feel like anything because everything dies instantly. So maybe my build's not bad. Maybe my build is bad. I don't know. But everything in this first section of the game just dies.
Well, maybe it'll get tougher once you get closer to level 7.
Yeah. I guess if I had gone to Gnome or a Halfling, I could write it now. But I didn't know I needed to do that, you know?
Gotta raise that Triceratops, man.
Right. So I'm going to probably switch it over.
That is kind of a strange role thinking about it, though, because I'm sure that Triceratops wouldn't have to be that old for me to ride it.
Right. It's bigger than me now in game.
Yeah.
Also, there's some weird stuff about the action combat where, like, my Triceratops has a charge ability. He can ram the enemy with his horns, and it's really cool. But if an ally's in the way, he just won't do it. It won't path him around and then charge. He just sits there.
But they might be kind of basing it on a rhino.
I guess so. Yeah. But it also, like, the tooltip for the charge says 0 feet. The target needs to be within 0 feet. And then the charge says they can charge up to 10 feet towards the enemy. It's like, I don't think that quite works. But I don't know. It's a weird game, and I want to go back and finish that first impressions, but I'm kind of afraid to because I'm kind of afraid I'm going to hate it.
Yeah, I understand. Okay. I understand.
I have one last game to talk about,
Fair enough. Go for it.
which is Octopath Traveler 2.
Oh, okay.
I think there's two
Okay.
L's in Traveler. Uh, I recorded a video on it today talking about like an early in progress review. I'm really loving this game so far.
Of
So
course you are.
8 characters to choose from, right?
All right.
I'm gonna give you a short, real quick synopsis of each one, and then I'm gonna have you guess which one I chose.
Okay.
So there's Hikari, the samurai, trying to save his ousted kingdom. I did not choose him first. There's Particio, the merchant, who has been like wrecked by poverty, and now his goal is to go around the world and end the devil called poverty. I did not pick the samurai. There's Casti, the apothecary, who has amnesia, and she's trying to figure out what happened. There's Agnia, the dancer, who wants to be world famous.
Does she have an eye patch?
She does not, unfortunately.
Okay. Keep
Uh,
going.
There's Ochette, the hunter, who is trying to find the giant monsters to save her island. There's Oswald, the scholar, who is just the Count of Monte Cristo. There's Temenos, the cleric, who is secretly a member of the Inquisition. And finally, there's Throne, the thief, who is trying to free herself from the family that she's stuck in.
Well, see, it's a trick question. Obviously, it's the Inquisition because no one expects to stay.
No, I picked the Count of Monte Cristo. I picked the Scholar of Monte Cristo because, of course, I did. It's my favorite novel. As soon as the option was, yeah, this scholar has been thrown in a prison because his family was killed and he's been blamed for it. Yeah, no, I'm there. Let's go. And then the prison is just the Chateau d'If. It is so on the nose. It's wonderful.
Just, they're not hiding it. They know who it is.
So, yeah, I love Oswald. He's great. The only complaint that I have with Octopath Traveler 2 so far is that you can't take your main character out of the party, just like in Octopath Traveler 1, which means that he's going to outlevel enemies.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. I have seen Genkutsuo. It's very good. But in this game, in the first game, levels were very important.
Mm-hmm.
In this game, gear is more important than levels. So it's not quite as bad. As long as you don't just do a team of 4 and then a team of 4, you're not going to outgear everything. You're just going to have more HP than you probably would normally, because HP scales with level. But it is kind of annoying not to be able to just switch out and have everybody the same level. I like having all my party members the same level, but
yeah,
I'll put up with it.
Well, that was the thing all the way back to not Final Fantasy. Like Dragon Warriors only got one. Final Fantasy
Yep.
got the 4. Your guy would get killed. Your mage, or whatever, your neck mage
No
would get
XP.
killed after you walk back. By the time you get back to the kingdom, your fighter who's dragging in 3 bodies by the time you get in there, it's like 3 levels higher.
Yep. And you'll never be able to fix it unless you just get him killed.
Yeah, just let him die, and that's the way you have to do it.
Yep. So, thankfully, this is not that bad, but it would still be nice to be able to take the first character you choose out of your party. But once you beat Chapter 4 for that character, then you can. So that's always the first Chapter 4 that I beat. But we'll see. I'm enjoying it so far.
All right.
And then the last thing for my week is that my wife and I have been watching Taskmaster again. She's been sick, so we're on Taskmaster Series 9 now. I have seen through Taskmaster Series 10.
Yeah.
And so I'm very excited for after that because I know that there's quite a few more at this point now. So.
Oh, you got no time.
Series
I
13, I think, is the last one they've done. So.
Okay. I haven't watched it in a while.
Good show. Good show.
Yes, it is.
All right. Well, that's all for weeks. Not that Taskmaster, no, but that is a good Taskmaster.
Yes.
So let's move into reviews.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wait, before we move into reviews, do you want to talk about Double Zeta?
Do we have to? No, we're fixing to finish. We're about to finish it up. We'll be going through.
Yeah.
It feels Double Zeta, and I have a feeling even at the end I'm going to feel this way about it. The whole thing, it feels like, look, Roxanne, leave my bacon alone. But through the whole thing, it's like, like you're missing a part of the story, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's like there needs to be more to the story here.
Yeah.
I'm sure that there is manga, about some of those other things, but I don't know that it would fill in
Yeah.
the spaces that need to be filled in to make this like really coherent.
So I told you Thursday when we watched Rasura die, Rasura Moon.
Yeah.
I have Spoiler Lubu up now, so it's your fault if you're watching this and you Spoiler Lubu's up.
Ooh. Yeah.
When we watched Rasura die and couldn't
Just
understand
gave up.
why, that
Just give up.
I would look up the interview with Tomino, and I did find it.
Yeah.
Tomino intended you to understand from what was there that Rasura Moon was using her new type powers to protect Mondo. And that is why the Zagok fell over. Not because he held his foot up and then overbalanced, but because he was stepping on an invisible force field that pushed his foot up and caused him to fall. And she overtaxed her powers with that and died. Yeah. Yeah. There's nothing to indicate that, Tomino.
Come on, man.
It's very clear the man who wanted to take Rasura as a concubine just didn't want to step on her. There's no force field there.
Yeah. It's kind of like Double A's got problems. That's all I'm saying. I realize you've never got to tell your full story like you wanted to. But I'm on your side.
Yeah.
I wish you did, but you didn't. So, whoo.
No, a heart attack would make more sense with what we see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unironically.
I thought you just gave up.
Well, Tomino also says that's where the force field comes from the episode prior, where the Zeon soldier, the Neo Zeon soldier, shoots at the transport.
Yeah.
Supposedly, what Tomino's original intention was that the Neo Zeon soldier would be confused by the force field, but instead he has him just say, "It's a good thing we had a force field there," which doesn't imply confusion at all.
No. Well, on my end.
Yeah. There's confusion to be had.
At the end of the day, on my end, there's plenty of confusion.
I still think Judo Ashta is a good character.
You would.
I think he might be the only good character, but I still think Judo Ashta is a good character. Yeah, there should have been something. There should have been something. I don't think any of us can disagree on that.
Heck yeah, getting down with the new type sound. That's what we're talking about.
You ready to move on to reviews?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Nobody's commented on it yet, but hopefully everybody appreciates it. It's been nobody said a thing, but it's okay. I worked really hard on it. So we have 9 reviews today.
All right, man.
So I'm just gonna read a couple of deals for each of them.
Fair enough.
Thank you, King. Thank you. Waverly already says 78.
Yeah. Let's think it through there. We gotta get through this. It's 9 of these things, man.
So
What is this first game?
let me get the deal up here for it. Where is that at? Why is it not?
What have you done?
Well, the ice
Be
cream was
prepared,
supposed to pop up right away.
No.
But it
This is
didn't.
unacceptable.
There it is.
I have to
Okay.
replace the shot collar.
So Octopath Traveler 2. You've heard me talk about it a little bit.
Okay.
What do you think the critic average score is for Octopath Traveler 2?
I'm gonna go 92 on that one.
All right.
9-2.
All right, chat.
Hey, 82. I got a 92. I gave in. Think about it. If you'd like to join us.
The score is 85.
All right. All right. All right. Fine then. 85.
Our first review is from Push Square that says Octopath Traveler 2 presents enough rich turn-based action to forgive its minor combat system flaws. It's a breathtaking work of art filled to the brim with story and adventure, bolstered by a cast of incredible characters who will leave you wanting more at every turn. A masterfully crafted RPG.
All right. They sound like they liked it.
Yeah. Inverse, for the inverse, says, despite my frustrations with the limited ways that Octopath Traveler 2 improves upon the original, at its core the game still scratches an itch that no other game can satisfy. I still spent more than 50 hours in the world of Celestia, exploring every part of the map I could and seeking out new stories to immerse myself in. For those who lament the modern state of Final Fantasy or want something that feels truly inventive in its design compared to many cookie-cutter AAA games, Octopath Traveler 2 is a journey well worth taking. What's wrong with current Final Fantasy, man? Modern Final Fantasy is good too. Why? Welcome back, Will.
Welcome back, Will. How'd you hear, sir? All right. So I was kind of thinking, it is kind of pushy. It does sound like good. I'm going to go 90.
Okay.
We're really there. I think 90, they might be recommending it a little bit higher than, like, yeah, the game could be better, but you should play it.
It is kind of unique now. There's not anybody else really doing that, you know?
Yeah. Well, it depends on how well it sells. And
That's true. A 90, a 91, and a 90 from you. The score is 94%.
all right. Roxanne, they're playing The Price is Right.
Yep.
Raise that by $1. Very good. Got a little bit closer though. So we were all up there in the 90s. With that sounded like good reviews. All right.
So next up, Wild Hearts. This is the Monster Hunter like. Not a lot of these on the market anymore. There used to be like
Wait, is it a remake?
no, it is not anywhere tied to Wild Arms. It is its own thing.
Okay, that's where my brain went, I'm sure. Okay. Okay, yes.
What is that called? The anime series that was like Monster Hunter that made some games. I can see the giant weapons they had in my mind. Quack. I cannot remember the name of it. Oh well.
No. All right, I will give it an 84.
Okay. He says 76. Let's see what the X says.
I don't know.
I also put out Tokiden 1 and 2. And a 79 from Roxanne. Tokiden's not the one I'm thinking of, but Tokiden is also a Monster Hunter like. The score is 80.
All right. You're close. All right.
First off,
shot around their nose.
From Niche Gamer, Wild Hearts is an extremely fun monster hunting game that anyone can sink their teeth into. The building system is a treat, the hunts are challenging, and the game has been really polished. Finding any complaints about the game feel like nitpicking, as the game doesn't have any glaring defects or flaws. It's rare when a gem like Wild Hearts comes around, but it really is just a fantastic game, and I hope we get some expansions.
Okay.
Then for your second one, MMORPG.com says, it's not an MMO, but go ahead, go for it. I don't blame anybody for trying to make that money right now.
Yeah.
Although Wild Hearts puts up a valiant effort to capitalize on the success that Monster Hunter has found in the West these past few years, it still leaves a lot to be desired. The most disappointing aspect is how bogged down it is with technical issues that prevent a seamless online co-op experience. A lot of the joy in hunting monsters is being able to do it with friends. Despite featuring cross-platform play, I preferred to play Wild Hearts alone rather than be bothered with the slowdowns that I encountered. It shows great promise with their weapon types and the upgrading mechanics, but ultimately Wild Hearts feels like an unfinished product. I hope that the upcoming content updates can turn that around. In the meantime, I'd look elsewhere for getting that next hunt in.
I think it's going to drop down a little bit. I'm going to give it a 76.
Okay.
I'm going to 78 in, yeah. Like this is where the 76 is going to come in. Right through here. Go.
The score is
Yeah.
79%.
Oh. Yeah.
So close.
It does. Yeah.
Everybody's
Well,
everybody's shooting around it now.
Yeah. Well, I got the same idea, I think.
Next up is Like a Dragon Ishin.
Okay. I'm going to go back up to 92.
So again, for anybody who doesn't know, this is a remake or remaster, I guess you could say, of a game that came out many years ago in Japan for the PlayStation 3. It has been upresed, it's been put into the new engine, and a bunch of new stuff has been added, but the core of the game is still that original game. You said 92?
Yes.
89, 90, 87?
Yeah, those all good scores. All good scores.
The answer is 80.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I felt for sure one of us was going
I wish, Will. I wish.
Damn, awesome.
Yes. Your first review for you is from VG247. 24/7, I guess is how you probably say that.
Probably.
It says, Like a Dragon Ishin, in my eyes, earns the lofty score I'm giving it. The game is the most fun I've had with a single-player game in years, and getting a review code for it the same day as Hi-Fi Rush left me spoiled, incredibly tired, and astoundingly happy. It's worth your time and your money.
Okay.
But
sound like he wrote that when he was tired and kind of ecstatic.
It did. PC Magazine says, Like a Dragon Ishin is a remastered blast from the past that will appeal to longtime Yakuza fans, but a dated design and some bugs make the game feel rough around the edges.
Okay. I'm going to go 83.
Okay.
83. I think it'll be all right. I figured somebody would have got one on this one. Seriously.
Right.
By now, we're all right.
So you had an 83. We got an 87. The score is 86.
So close.
Hmm.
That's fine.
Next up, we are burning through these, which is good because there's still 6 more. How's Sons of the Forest looking? The review embargo was not up, at least on OpenCritic. It might be on Metacritic already, but nothing's been added on OpenCritic for it yet. Atomic Heart is next. Or at least it wasn't as the start of this podcast. It might have been added in the middle of it, but...
Ooh, I got feelings about this game.
Atomic Heart, for anybody who doesn't know, is a Bioshock-like.
Yeah.
It's weird to say that things are just like this, because they kind of are just that, but made by different people, so they're different. But what do you think?
Man, I want this game to be good. I'm gonna go 92.
I
want this to be a good game.
78, as usual, from Waverly. 95 from Roxanne.
Yeah. I liked the look of it.
The score is 74.
74? That's kind of disappointing.
I almost said percent on the end of that. If you heard it sound like I was going to say another word. It's not, it's just 74. The percentage is coming next.
Yeah.
Your first review is from Gaming Trend.
Yeah.
Who says 2023 has already been strong with Game of the Year contenders, and Atomic Heart is another one of them. It lives up to all of the hype and all of its promises. An amazing debut game for Mundfish, nailing down a few things Atomic Heart is phenomenal at is nearly impossible. They didn't put A, but A should be there. A nearly impossible task because it's extraordinary in all of them. This isn't just my favorite game of the year. It might be one of my favorites of the decade.
That sounds like a good review.
Now, this is the first time we're reading a review from this outlet. I really like this blurb. I just want you to know that ahead of time. There is that, unfortunately, that also happened. And so I had to shift through a bunch of reviews, I'll say. Sift through, that's it. That's the word I was looking for.
Better terminology,
to find some that actually were talking about the game itself. Saving Content says, Mundfish threw everything but the kitchen sink at this one, and I wish most of it worked for it. Atomic Heart is good when you're using the various guns, which have been upgraded to your liking, and you get the time to explore these gorgeous and detailed environments with strong artistic direction. What's not so good is that the protagonist is completely unlikable, the writing is cringy, and the combat encounters are either completely exhausting or totally worthless to engage in. A first-person shooter where it's better to not fight seems to be missing the point. Atomic Heart is certainly an ambitious, gorgeous game, but ultimately disappointing and flat first-person shooter that I cannot recommend. Now, I do want to specify, I said I liked that blurb. I do think the section in the middle about the writing and the protagonist being unlikable, that's your mileage may vary. But if a game leaves you after the combat encounter feeling like it might as well not have been there, then it's BioShock Infinite and there's something wrong.
Why did I do this?
BioShock 1 and 2 did not have that problem. And maybe Atomic Heart doesn't either, but that's the kind of thing that should be brought up in a review if you feel that way.
Well, I'm gonna drop this down to 74.
Okay.
Well, I think we got an 872. Yes. Heck yeah. 83. That might be bad.
The recommended score is 56%.
Ooh, that's pretty low.
Yeah, it was a pretty buggy launch on some graphics cards, which definitely didn't help it. And then a lot of people talked about how annoying the protagonist is. I haven't played it to know if that's true, but it seemed like the humor did not work for a lot of people.
The protagonist is Preston Garvey.
Right? Pretty much. Heard SPS doesn't constantly have constant shooting. For sure. If all you have is engagement after engagement after engagement after engagement, then there's no real room to enjoy the story or the world.
Yeah. Gotta let it breathe, man.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta let it breathe.
All right. Well, next up, we have Theatrhythm Final Bar Line, which I've talked about a couple times, but we're finally getting to talk reviews for.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the Final Fantasy rhythm game. I really liked the demo, personally.
Yes.
Well, how about the full game? What do you think?
80. I want to go nice, safe in the middle there. 80.
Did not mean to push the button that quick, but here we are.
Do it.
GF wants this so bad. I understand. Trends up. That was well timed. We also have an 82 on the board. But the score is 86.
Ooh, got 80 in the last minute. 86.
All
right.
Other than that 56, it seems like everybody's around the right score this week.
Yeah, that 56 was rough.
I don't think anybody could have seen that coming, except for me, because I saw it already on the board, so I knew it was coming.
Getting close.
Your first review is from Digitally Downloaded, who says that given that the only issue with Theatrhythm Final Bar Line is that the JRPG elements are superficial and unnecessary for the game, while not actually undermining the underlying rhythm game action, it's hard not to see the effort as a monumentally successful project. With nearly 400 music tracks out of the box, excellent underlying rhythm game mechanics, and of course, the music being so good, this is a game that's going to last even the most casual Final Fantasy fan for months. And then there's the DLC with music from games outside of the Final Fantasy series to look forward to. That's only going to add even more to the biggest value game on Switch. We got to hydrate, by the way.
Oh, okay. Oh, hydrate.
And then your other review is from Kakachopere, who says that this is a game that only the most hardcore Final Fantasy fans, or maybe even fans of rhythm games in general, can truly enjoy to the fullest. For everyone else, you're basically just paying for the music and nothing much else. Personally, I'd rather spend my time just listening to them on Spotify or any other music streaming service. And I read that review, I read that blurb, just so I could say, tell me you don't understand the joy of rhythm games without telling me you don't understand the joy of rhythm games.
You don't know what it's like to sit in the dark and cry while Final Fantasy Prologue's playing.
That's right.
You don't understand.
Right. It is the time-old, like age-old argument for rhythm games, or against rhythm games, right? Why wouldn't I just listen to the music? Why would I pay to listen to it? Well, you're not just listening to music. Yeah, it's a game. So what do you think?
I don't know.
There's
80.
the Kira cry. Kira's crying in the dark, listening to the prologue. Dude, dude, dude. I love how we both did the same thing.
Yeah.
What number did you say? I'm sorry.
80.
Okay.
Well, 80. Yes.
Uh, the score is 93%.
Was that both Waverly and Will were up there, huh?
Yeah, pretty close. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
There is a joy to it. And speaking of a joy to it, next up is Blood Bowl 3. For anybody who doesn't know, the Blood Bowl series is Warhammer Fantasy, now Age of Sigmar's football game, I guess is the easiest way to put it. American football. Where basically
I'll stand up for it. Go.
it was very close, Waverly. It was very close. One off. Basically it's an RPG, turn-based RPG football game with the ability to fumble quite often.
Yeah.
It's very special in that there's kind of nothing like it.
Yeah, but it's also, I believe it's also like turn based too. You're not controlling the runner.
Right.
You know. It's not like NFL Blitz.
Right.
But yeah.
This one sparks joy, this one does not. Blood Bowl fans talking about Blood Bowl 3.
It's a strategy game. Oh, okay. I'll go.
Got scores all over the place today.
I'll go down to I'll go 70.
Okay. 78, 74, 76, 63.
I don't know there's much they can really do with it.
The answer is 56.
Ooh, yeah, okay. Back down in the 50s. Right there. And that's a straight up review. Ooh, okay.
Yep. Your first review is from But Why Though, who says, Blood Bowl 3 is undoubtedly the best new way to experience Blood Bowl. It's filled with character, brimming with options, and has plenty of depth for players to explore and toy around with. However, it is unfortunate that it doesn't give new players the proper tools to break through its outer crust. For those that are hungry for more brutal sports action, however, you'd be hard-pressed to find anything better. And yes, they use two howevers in the same sentence. You almost put 50.
They've been close.
Your second review is from the Sixth Axis, who says, if Blood Bowl 3 does one thing right, it's that it really makes me appreciate that Blood Bowl 2 exists, which right now is a far superior game in all aspects. For now, save your money and wait to see if this one gets any better.
Ow.
I love that review, though.
All right. You know what? I want to say
Where's the oof when we need it?
I feel bad doing this, but 32.
Okay, posture check. See a 49.
Yeah.
A 0. 40.
Yeah.
User review 23%. Oof.
God.
The score is 40%. Roxanne got it.
Hey, all right. Congratulations. Congratulations. Somebody finally got it. Well, landed on the ice cream. Yeah, I didn't think that was going to be a very high score recommended.
You are on the ice cream wall of fame, Roxanne.
Yay.
For now.
All right.
Next up is The Pale Beyond. You might not have heard of this game.
I don't think I have. No.
This is a Banner Saga-like, I guess is the best way to put it.
Okay.
About a, like, it's a survival game, sort of like a Banner Saga, about a ship, and you are the captain of the ship, and you have to make tough decisions as you go across through the game.
Right. I don't know. Okay. Say 82 on this one. This one's new to me.
Okay.
80, what?
It
Score.
isn't the right ice cream. It is now. Oh, I'm gonna take a picture of the next ice cream cone that I buy, and use that from now on.
Yeah.
The score is 80. So Will is also now on the ice cream Wall of Fame
Oh,
because
fine.
it is
Fine
80.
then. All right. You don't have to burn his ice cream.
All right. Let me read some reviews for you.
Yeah, do that.
Gaming Trend says The Pale Beyond is a masterclass in tone and atmosphere, informing. I'm sorry, let me reread this. That sentence feels like it should end after atmosphere, but it doesn't. The Pale Beyond is a masterclass in tone and atmosphere informing gameplay. As Captain Robin Shaw, you'll need to make tough decisions constantly, but this stressful journey is well worth seeing through to the end.
Yell it.
And then Jump Dash Roll, this is a new outlet for us to cover, says, a tough game that's sometimes a little too harsh for its own good, but if you're up for the challenge, there's a wonderfully touching gaming experience to be had here.
It's Vikings on a boat, right? Okay, so this
Not
is
quite.
a Vikings. Okay, not quite.
No, this is a more modern, like, let's say 1902 style.
That's pretty close.
1902, I guess.
Okay. Where? Anyway, okay. 85.
Okay.
85.
87, 75. I think Will is telling you to hurry up and get on the scoreboard.
Yeah, but either way, I'm trying.
The score is 100%.
Wow. Okay. They like it. They really like it.
Does not happen often. So
No.
definitely wanted to highlight that one.
Check out this. See about this game.
Next up, we make Rundgren play it. Maybe. Next up is Horizon Call of the Mountain. This is the VR title for PSVR 2.
Okay.
In the Horizon universe.
I think this one's gonna land around 84.
Okay.
That one's had a little bit of pull.
78.
might be a good score. That might do it. I'm feeling strong with my 84.
88. Okay.
All right.
The score is 81.
What? I can't have odd numbers.
We're reading a lot of gaming trends today, but Gaming Trend says Sony needed a system seller for their PlayStation VR 2, and Horizon Call of the Mountain is it. Scale, interactivity, haptics, and satisfying combat that matches the main games makes for a must-have for anyone picking up Sony's newest hardware. I don't see how it could match the main games because it's in VR and not third person. I feel like it naturally has to be different, but sure, go off, I guess.
Unless they didn't have a view switch.
I don't think so.
Third or first? I don't remember.
Then we have an absolute paragraph. I'm going to read this as quick as I can while still being legible from Stevivor that says, Horizon Call of the Mountain is absolutely beautiful and features some fun moments, but it bears repeating that it in no way feels like an $80 Australian game. It barely feels like a $60 Australian game and should have been included with the PSVR 2 without an additional cost. It's without a doubt a fantastic way to show off what the PSVR can do, eye tracking aside as it's only used in menus and dialogue sequences, When your friends come over to check out your new toy, they'll come to see Horizon Call of the Mountain, but they'll stay for Gran Turismo 7. While this offers fans a literally alternate perspective into a universe that many really love, myself included, and is fantastic as a tool to show off the PSVR 2, it lacks depth as an actual game. Challenge and balance are overloaded with tedious climbing sequences and not enough of the fun stuff. The game is upside down.
Taking that review and that thing, it just seems like, yeah, this is a test.
Yeah. This was the Sony Play game that had Play Archery and Play.
Yeah.
That's what that review sounds like.
Yeah. All right. You ready?
Yep.
76.
All right.
I'm going 76.
Miss Killzone, I understand. The score is 79%.
Oh man. See, if y'all had kept building off mine and Will's score, you'd have somebody would have got it. We need a 78 and a 79 when it got there.
And the last review for tonight.
Fine.
Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe.
Oh, okay. What can you do? I mean,
this is much like a Dragonician, a remaster that has a bunch of new content in it, including an epilogue to the original game.
That's right. You can play through. You can get a new epilogue. Oh my gosh.
King likes Kirby, says 96.
Does he?
Will likes Kirby, says 99. Waverly does not like Kirby, says 80.
80 is a good score. I'm gonna go with 88.
Okay.
88, because I know there's a couple of Kirby titles that got huge, and I know that they're bringing. Obviously, it's one of the big ones.
Yeah. Roxanne also likes Kirby.
Fair enough.
But in this situation, not liking Kirby paid off because the score's 80. Waverly's also on the board. That's why I made such a big deal out of that. It was too perfect not to.
Right. 3 people on the board tonight?
Yeah. I have to actually move the board over because it's so full. You were close, King. If only you had hated Kirby more. Kirby is the ultimate life. It's true. So again, every time we cover this outlet, I have to remind you, they might be a little biased because they only cover Nintendo games. But Nintendo Life says, Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe is a fantastic remake of one of our favorite Kirby adventures. With slick new visuals, some meaningful gameplay tweaks, and 2 excellent new modes to dig into, this is a big, loud, and colorful celebration of all things Kirby that should delight new and returning players alike. Magalore's epilogue is a surprisingly chunky addition to the core game that gives the campaign a nice boost, whilst Merry Magoland ensures that you and your pals are kept busy with plenty of minigames, missions, and online challenges to best once you're done with the main story mode. It's another win for everyone's favorite pink puffball.
Okay. That's not a bad one. That sounds like, that was a little bit selling.
Yeah.
Felt like. And he's pink.
Now,
Pink.
I want to read this one for you from Survivor. I will say I think this argument that is being made in this is flawed. And I can get into why afterwards if people want us to, right? But Survivor says, if you're a massive Kirby fan, this is for you. If you've got a passing interest, wait for a sale. It's not that this is bad or unpolished. It's just another repack game with a value proposition that lacks. I think the argument here is a little flawed because this is way more content than any of the other Kirby games on the market right now. And I'm not even saying like it should be charged at full price because it probably shouldn't, right?
Yeah.
But you can't then go wait for a sale because there's not enough content in it. Go wait for a sale because maybe they overcharged.
Yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying. All right. So what they recommended, though, is what you need to know right now.
Yep. 99,999.
Yeah.
It's a high recommendation.
gonna be odd. I'm gonna go 87.
I don't think the decimals are gonna help you, Roxanne. That's all I'm gonna say.
Just hedging the bets right there. Round up, round down, depending on how it goes.
And you said 87?
Yes, I did.
Oh, my dear friend. The score is 78%.
Oh, well, look at that.
You had
Somehow
it
that
in
feels
reverse.
appropriate. Somehow feels appropriate.
If you love Kirby, you'll always be wrong, says the guy who loves Kirby and is always wrong.
All right.
All right. So we'll move on from reviews to announcements.
Okay.
78. Yeah, it's a shame because Kirby's good. Kirby's good.
Dirty.
So we had a Pokemon Presents,
Yeah, I remember watching that.
and you and I both were a little disappointed,
Yeah.
is maybe the best way to say it.
Yeah.
There was some interesting things shown off, right?
Yeah. I was just whelmed.
Yeah, just whelmed for sure.
We're just whelmed.
Pokemon Sleep is coming back. It's actually going to exist this time.
Yeah.
It could be good. I don't know how that's going to work. I have still not figured that out since they originally announced it many years ago.
You slept that long? Dang.
Yeah, it's been a while. The Pokemon trading card game stuff they showed off was cool. Bringing back the classic cards. That's a nifty way to do it, you know? Hopefully they're playable, unlike in Magic the Gathering. Playable in all formats, not just...
Right.
Yeah, Buzzwole is pretty cool. We got the announcement of Pokemon Concierge, which seems pretty interesting.
Which, look, I would not turn down having a Pokemon Concierge.
Yeah. I also think the Psyduck looks pretty good in stop motion.
Yeah.
Pokemon Unite is getting Zacian from Pokemon Sword, which is cool, I guess.
Yeah, with the Concierge, it was called Pokemon Concierge, and that's
the Netflix show.
Yeah, that's maybe they're running a hotel. I don't know.
I hope so. Yeah. I hope we can see people come to check in, and there's just like a Dragonite at the counter. They're like, I'd like a room, and the Dragonite goes, bow. They go, yeah, for 2, and the Dragonite goes, bow, and then just hands them a key.
Right, and Concierge, have rock stars coming in, sending them out to buy illegal things off the street and come back.
Yep.
He's got a tropical island. I don't know. It's kind of scary.
A Pokemon Resort. Yeah, it's going to be part of the Pokemon Resort. The Concierge show is about that resort, and so I hope that that's what we get to see is people interacting with Pokemon in a cool resort, having a good time. We'll see. Wow, that is what Dragonite says. For anybody who's like, well, in the original Pokemon Red and Blue, Dragonite went... So, yeah, that's what he did in the original Pokemon Red and Blue. But ever since then, Dragonite goes, bow. That's what he does.
And he's not a real Pokemon because he doesn't say his own name.
He's amazing.
Not right. That's not the way they work.
Love him. He's my favorite. Well, he was my favorite. Phalanx is my favorite now. Okay. But Phalanx is too new. He doesn't have a plushie yet.
Fair enough.
Whoa. Lauren's here. I didn't close the door all the way, apparently. Whoops. But, yeah, Zacian's coming to Pokemon Unite. That's cool. I wish I liked playing Pokemon Unite. I really do. Sprigatito's your favorite Pokemon? I understand. Sprigatito's very cool. I also really love Clolf. Just throwing that out there. Nobody asked, but I do. And Sawsbuck. There's a whole video that I made a while back of ranking all the Pokemon by my personal favorites. I need to go back and add the new ones to that now. He's in here somewhere. But that would be fun to add them in there. Pokemon Cafe Remix is getting the starters from Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Dashbun is very cute. Which is cool. Glad to have them there. Pokemon Masters EX is adding in the champions. So, yeah, they should have been there already, in my opinion. So cool. Yeah. Glad they're there. He's always been there. Lauren has. Yeah, that's true. He's right there.
Dang it.
We already talked about Pokemon Sleep a little bit.
Yeah.
I still wish I knew how that works. Umbreon is cool too, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not
Well,
even
okay.
opposed to the idea of like playing an idle game with Pokemon overnight.
No, but it looks like it connects to Pokemon Go,
Yeah,
or
that's
that, and
where my
that
concerns come in.
they had their, you got the little thing where you hit the button,
Mm-hmm.
use it for Pokemon Go, then you can hit it to go to sleep. You never have to not be playing Pokemon.
Yeah, and I already play an idle game overnight called The Tower.
Yeah.
Hey, leave that alone. Where it runs overnight and it collects me coins overnight. It's fine. I want, if this is good, I will switch to it to play overnight. That's not even a question. I love Pokemon.
Okay.
I just worry that it's going to only tie into Go and it's not going to be its own standalone actual game, you know? Cookie Clicker and Fisher Cat. I understand. It could be. I don't know that listening to Pikachu sing me a lullaby every night is worth the price of that thing. Well, all right then, Jewel. That's maybe shouldn't do that. I wish that you could choose any Pokemon and get it to play that,
Yeah.
where it would just do like you could even use a like AI program to take and string the Pokemon sounds together to make it sound like the lullaby. But I wish you could choose, because I'm
Yeah.
gonna sound heretical with this. I don't love Pikachu. I don't dislike Pikachu, but I don't love Pikachu.
Fair enough. Yeah. There's
I'm
nothing
getting a
wrong with
little sick of Pikachu.
it. Yeah. He's not that good.
um, but I'm a Raichu guy. I like Raichu way more than I like Pikachu. So, you know.
Well, that's almost splitting hairs, isn't it?
No, Raichu's way cooler. He's like twice Pikachu's size, and he goes, lie, before he kills somebody. Uh, it should be Jigglypuff, 100%. It should be Jigglypuff. But they did announce this device that lets you listen to Pikachu sing to you, and it will be who knows how much money. They didn't say. Hunter more than Gengar, I understand. Pichu more than Pikachu or Raichu, I get it. I get it. They're also going to be adding. Would you guys calm down? They're going to be adding expansions to Scarlet and Violet. The first one is called the Teal Mask, and the second one is the Indigo Disc.
Yep.
These seem cool. They showed off some new Pokemon with them. I'm trying to get the exact names so I say them right. I don't want to get the names wrong.
Do not get them wrong.
For these new Pokemon. All right, so it's Ogerpon.
Okay.
As well as Monkey Dory and Pheasantipity. That makes way more sense. And of course, thank you, Jewel. That was perfect timing. As Jewel pointed out to me in the comments of our reaction video, they're based on the story of Momotaro. Of course they are. It's the dog, the pheasant, and the monkey.
Okay.
So that's cool.
Monkey. Oh, I'm looking at the spellings here.
Yeah. Monkey Dory, Okie Dokie, Serendipity. Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Well, that's cool.
Dog.
And then the second DLC will have a Pokemon called Terrapagos. So that's cool.
Is he from the Earth?
Good question. It could also be a reference to like tearing a page.
Yes.
They're also going to be adding Gimmighoul to Pokemon Go. Like, sure. All right. I didn't catch 99 Gimmighouls in Scarlet and Violet. So, you know, who wants to go to school under the ocean? That'd be cool. But they're also going to be adding new forms of Suicune and Virizion. Scarlet will get Walking Wake, which is a primal version of Suicune, and Violet will get Iron Leaves, which is a techno version of Virizion. That's cool.
That's cool. Fair answer. Yeah. Yeah. All right.
ultimately, I feel like we said, I'm still underwhelmed even afterwards. I think there's some cool stuff here.
Yeah.
I just
I am a Gundam.
thank you, Setsuna. I just don't feel like there is. I don't know. I feel like there's not quite enough that was teased here to get me excited. But the idea of Momotaro being used, that's cool. I'd like to see where that goes. And then Indigo Disc being some underwater stuff could be really interesting. Especially if that means we get Dive back as an HM that your Koraidon and Miraidon can use. But I don't know. We'll see. I like Pokemon a lot. I just don't feel like most of the stuff in this direct really was aimed towards me. So
Yeah. I don't need you anymore.
who knows? In a couple months, I might be saying that Pokemon Sleep is the best thing ever. I almost said Sleep is the best thing ever, and we all know that's not true.
Some days.
And speaking of DLC, Elden Ring DLC has been announced.
You happy about that? Excited about that?
Shadow of the Erd Tree. I am. I'm very excited about it. They haven't told us anything about it other than just like a small tease of an image, which seems to be Torrent being ridden by somebody that might be Saint Trina, might be Makella. It's hard to say. You guys sleep. I will once Pokemon Sleep comes out. But I don't know. We really don't know anything right now, so it's just kind of like, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm excited for this. When's it coming?
Yeah.
I don't know. What's going to be in it? I don't know.
But it looks like it. The same artwork's the same.
Yep.
So therefore, it's cool.
I'm stoked. Who knows? Maybe this time next year I'll be talking about how good Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and Elden Ring DLC is. I hope so.
Right.
I hope so. So let's move into the news.
Okay.
First off, for the news, gonna do a lot of quick running around stuff to get things moved over now. Let's talk about Dokapon Kingdom Connect.
All right.
That would be cool. That would be cool, King. Dokapon Kingdom Connect, we already knew was coming, right? This will be the online Switch version where it's not online, isn't like an MMO, but where you can play online.
Right.
They've revealed how the online works, and it's actually pretty cool. It wouldn't be newsworthy if it was just like, hey, you can play online. But you can save whenever you want, basically. I hope everybody likes it, Roxanne. I hope they do. Put a lot of work into it. One really strong boss gets tougher the more you lose. When you're playing online, you can save basically whenever you want, right? Which is cool. You can also suspend it as if you were playing offline so that you can come back and play again later, which is cool. If somebody gets disconnected, the game will prompt everybody to rejoin a new room that player can rejoin.
Okay.
So that's cool. If you have to go to the bathroom or you have to leave for a little while and everybody else wants to keep playing, you can hand your control over to a computer at any time. And you can have, you can have multiple people play on just one Switch. So if you have like two Switches, 3 people in one house, 1 person in another, the 3 people in the one house can all play on the same Switch just by taking turns. Because the game uses turns anyway.
Okay.
So it's not a huge thing to talk about, but it's just pretty cool that they put thought into how to make it work online past just, there's a lobby, and if you get kicked, then you're done. Because unfortunately, there are other big name AAA games that's how it works.
Yeah.
Next up, this is some interesting news. Shinji Mikami is leaving Xbox, leaving Microsoft. Now, some of you might recognize the name. I'm sorry, I didn't get to mute in time.
Bless you.
I'm so sorry. And some of you might not recognize the name Shinji Mikami. He used to work at Capcom for a long time. He helped make Resident Evil. You might have heard about it.
Yeah.
He helped make God Hand, Vanquish, Evil Within. He's kind of a big name.
Vanquish, the robot fighter. thing. Where you
Yeah.
slide.
Yeah. We're gonna bring Vanquish up again in a little bit. But for unknown reasons, he's leaving. Don't know if it's just that he's tired of working with Microsoft, if he got a better offer, if he's going to do his own new thing. We just know he's leaving.
Or if he's just done with it and gonna go on vacation for the rest of his life.
Yeah, he could be retiring.
Yeah. I don't know.
But there are some people that are very sad about this because Evil Within got kind of like a cult following, even though it wasn't super popular.
Yeah.
And theoretically, he would have kept making those if he'd stayed with Tango Gameworks and Microsoft. We just don't know. Sorry, but the last game that he worked on as part of Microsoft through Tango was Hi-Fi Rush. So at least he's leaving them with like a big game.
Yeah, he got a good game there.
So,
interesting.
but just a little weird thing.
Yeah.
And then we have one last news topic for the night. This one's probably going to take a little while. There was a Yoshi-P interview on Final Fantasy 16 that was a pretty good interview talking about Final Fantasy 16, right? It was done by SkillUp.
Yeah.
The YouTuber SkillUp, and it was a pretty good time. However, there was a question that SkillUp asked during the course of the interview that led to kind of an interesting response. And I think this is probably going to take up most of the rest of the show's runtime discussing this.
Okay.
There's supposed to be an ad starting in 7 seconds, so I'm trying to extend out to there. But my gut says the ad's not going to start on time like it's supposed to, because I'm still getting ads starting soon. So I guess we just go ahead and start talking about this. Let me first give you the rundown on the interview itself about Final Fantasy 16. Final Fantasy 16 is, of course, an action RPG. There are two main different game modes. I don't know how much of this you want to know. There are two. I don't know how much you're trying to stay unspoiled on 16.
No, go for it.
Okay. There are two main game modes. Standard Combat, which is made by the main creator of DMC, of Devil May Cry, so it's going to be serious action.
Yeah.
And then Eidolon fights, which are where you fight as Ifrit, which are huge, like, kaiju battles almost.
Mm-hmm.
And that sounds sick. The ad has now started. Okay. I'm going to choose this opportunity to take a drink.
Fine. Get a drink.
I did not expect this to be so sour.
Does that mean I get if I level up, I get to play as Odin?
I hope so. The ad has finished. So,
okay.
A lot of cool stuff, right? Soken is still going to be making the soundtrack, so the soundtrack is going to be great, I'm sure. Soken is an incredible composer. He's done most of the Final Fantasy XIV music, which has won many awards at this point. Not that just giving awards makes it a great soundtrack, but it is also universally acclaimed as a great soundtrack, you know? Yoshi-P is heading the production. He wants to move Final Fantasy forward. He feels like people think Final Fantasy is one thing when it's not. People think Final Fantasy is just turn-based action. It's not. It hasn't been that for a while.
Yeah.
He wants to keep moving forward into that. I don't fully agree with him. I think he says that a turn-based Final Fantasy probably wouldn't sell as much as a more action-style one. I think it probably still would, based on things like Persona 5 and the Octopath series. But,
yeah,
you know, man's trying to make money. I can't blame him there.
Yeah.
But following the Final Fantasy 16 section, SkillUp was allowed to interview Yoshi-P. And this is when he asked him if he feels like, SkillUp asked Yoshi-P if he feels like the JRPG genre has advanced enough that people that only play like action games will be interested in it. And Yoshi-P gave a really interesting response.
Okay.
Which is, SkillUp says in the interview, Yoshi-P almost seemed to like recoil a little bit when the question was asked. And Yoshi-P got into talking about how he doesn't like the term JRPG.
Fair.
He says, and I hadn't thought about this in a while, I guess, but it is weird that we classify JRPGs as a different thing, right? Yoshi-P says, this is going to depend on who you ask, but there was a time when this term first appeared 15 years ago, and for us as developers, the first time we heard it, it was like a discriminatory term. The suggestion is that at the time, the term JRPG was used to silo off Japanese RPGs from other RPGs from the West, often to a negative effect. Yoshida then went on to say during this that the team didn't set out to create a game that fits the narrow JRPG definition. They just want to make an RPG along with what everybody else is making.
Yeah.
There has been some pushback on this.
I'm sure.
From people saying, well, JRPG's not discriminatory. It's just a term that we use to classify your games, and only your games that are made in Japan.
Yeah, but hold on, because if I say JRPG
Mhm.
and we're talking about it, you're going to get an image
Yes.
in your head of
Yes.
an art style and
Mhm.
a game flow.
Yes.
I think
oh,
the
go ahead.
name of it could be, I think it could be just about anything. It just happens to go in there. And I feel like it's almost left over from the 90s, right?
Yeah.
When that's where you got them.
Right.
You know?
I do agree with you for what it's worth, and Yoshi-P does too. He goes on to say in the article that, you know, he recognizes that now it is not used that way. Now it is used as a positive thing. It is, when people say JRPG, they mean this kind of game, and almost always it's a good thing when they say it.
Right.
But he does go on to say that we wanted to make an RPG, but 15 years ago, we felt compartmentalized, and that didn't feel good. That felt discriminatory. And part of the pushback in all this is people saying, well, that never happened. People weren't discriminating against the Japanese.
Well, no, they met. Sure, somebody was. But
Oh, yeah, I have examples to counter that. I did my research today.
sure, somebody was. But as an artist, as him, you know, that term just in itself would be like, no, don't limit my work like that. It's bigger than that.
Right.
I definitely understand that side of it, and I could see how he would feel that. And I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure there's more, and I'm betting the ones that are like that came after the term, just a little bit after the term was really getting going.
Yeah, I agree. And I do think, again, as we said, the term is a good thing now for the most part. It is almost always used to mean this is better than what you're thinking of.
Yeah, because language does shift and change,
Mhm.
and the people who love, they're going to keep love the JRPGs. If that's the term to use for them. Then they're going to keep playing them, keep that going, and keep always pointing back to them.
But I do want to shut down this idea that, well, that never happened. Because I don't think it's cool to tell somebody that felt like they were being discriminated that it didn't happen, first off. You don't get to speak for their feelings, just like they don't get to speak for yours. So I have collected a couple of interesting takes from a couple different people that are big in the gaming industry that kind of colored 2007, basically like 2002 to 2009, that period of time when it was really bad.
Keep talking, be right back.
Okay. Matt Hutchinson from Assassin's Creed, he used to be really big in Assassin's Creed, got on an article and just said, and I quote, "Then Gears of War comes out and apparently it's the worst written narrative in a game ever. I'll take Gears of War over Bayonetta anytime. It's patronizing to say, oh, those Japanese stories, they don't really mean what they're doing."
Well, you know, that's kind of weird because I wouldn't consider Bayonetta in that genre.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. 100%. But it was a
you're
weird,
wrong.
like, prevalent thing back in 2005.
I guess.
Phil
weird.
Fish said in a public forum when he was being interviewed at GDC one year, he said, modern Japanese games just suck. We make them better. You can quote me on that. That's the creator of Fez.
That's such a stupid thing to say because
Uh-huh.
by that time, you've got such a variety of games coming out, man.
Yep.
You know, anyway, go ahead.
I have two more for you. This one is about Vanquish, which I
Okay.
won't say the man's name because I don't want to get this person. This person's not as big as Alex Hutchinson and Phil Fish. People that they're gonna be fine if I say they had a bad take. This person, maybe not so much. But they say, since the embargo's up, I don't have much good to say about Vanquish. It's repetitive, clunky, and irritatingly punitive. Very Japanese.
Okay, that might have been
like-
a bit much.
All right, you didn't have to add that last part. And then the very last example I have here is from a GDC talk given by Ninja Theory, which is a US-based studio, when they were making DMC Devil May Cry. In their GDC talk, which included people from Capcom, including the creator of Dante, they had a presentation showing who Dante actually was. And in this presentation, they had images such as Brokeback Mountain, and above it said, not Dante, and then Fight Club, and above it said, Dante is. They had an image of Japanese school children in, like, anime-style clothing,
Yeah.
and said Dante is not, and then they had a guy in a hoodie, Dante is. Which is a thing to tell the creator that you know the character better than him.
This kind of blows my mind a little bit.
That was
Just so
2010, by the way.
Well, just like some of the question, I'm thinking back to this time, right?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking this is okay. Around this time and a few years after that, there was a lot of MMOs.
Yep.
I think I'm thinking it's about 2014. And Japan wasn't really where the stories were coming from.
Right.
You know, on that, honestly, I think there were a lot more. Like Korea was putting out.
Oh, yeah. Maple Story was huge.
Yeah, Maple Story, and I'm there's one that's coming to mind. I can picture it in my head.
Yeah.
I can't go through. I don't know. Sorry, I got.
No, you're good.
It's just a weird.
It's also weird because there were a couple years there where we did say WRPG. I remember when White Knight Chronicles 2 came out, it was classified as a WRPG. That's how it was billed to people. And for just a little short time, we said WRPG for Western RPG. And then that term just died. By the time of Witcher, it was, this is an RPG, and these are JRPGs.
Yeah, I feel, you know, it's like JRPGs are turn based.
Yeah, but they're not all turn-based.
No,
The
they're
Tales
not.
series has JRPGs, and those are active.
Yeah, so that's just an RPG.
Right. I would agree with you. I would even say it's an ARPG.
Okay.
But most people say, well, that's a JRPG series. It's like, well, I think that term kind of doesn't mean anything anymore. There was a time when it did, but I think now it kind of doesn't mean anything. Especially when people look at, like, Genshin Impact and say, yeah, it's a JRPG. Like, that was made in China.
Yeah, no, that is something else entirely. They're
BDO.
tricking you with the graphics.
That's a JRPG. No, that's a Korean RPG. That is not a Chinese or Japanese RPG.
Yeah.
So, you love MapleStory. I'm glad, Waverly. I'm glad. MapleStory popped an ad up for me on Steam the other day, and I was like, Look, we got ARPG, CRPG, SRPG, JRPG, WRPG.
WKRP.
Yeah.
That was in Cincinnati. The
Gas, games as a service.
yeah. But it's the same way. When you get into anything, when you start getting into talking about things.
Yeah.
And we're talking about the video games here, and we get into the little rabbit trails that
Yeah.
run off, and they all have their own terms and thing going through there. But Maple Story got a lot of love.
Yeah.
Maple Story got a lot of love.
But you have it on Steam? Nice. But it's just a weird, interesting thing. And I just, again, want to specify this. if you're watching this and you're one of the people that goes, well, he's blowing this out of proportion. If you don't live in Japan and you're not a game dev in Japan, I don't know that you can really say whether or not he's blowing it out of proportion, because I don't have the context to say he is.
No, I think it goes bigger. I understand. I understand what he's saying, and I think he understands that. It was the intention of it. It was
Yeah.
never, never meant to be demeaning.
Right.
But how he's seen it used and how people have used it to like pigeonhole things that really that kind of goes across the whole genre.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
because the guy's got spiky hair doesn't.
Right. I saw some people saying, well, that kind of thing doesn't happen anymore. It's like, well, yeah, all the examples that I pulled up were from years ago, but you remember last year when Elden Ring came out and the Horizon devs and some Ubisoft devs made a big thing about how the UI was so weird and Japanese and nobody over here would make a UI like that.
Yeah.
Just because the game was selling better than their game? Like, no, it does still happen, weirdly. It shouldn't, but it does. Nobody should have their place of origin affect how people receive their game. It can affect the story of the game. It can affect the themes of the game. But they're all just video games, man. When you're downloading it from Steam, it doesn't matter where it came from.
Yeah, right.
So
they're more alike than unlike.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It makes me think of that weird, now that we say like where it comes from doesn't really affect it. Do you remember that horror game that came from China that had a thing against the prime minister at the time in there, so the game got taken down? Because it had a Winnie the Pooh in there?
No.
I guess there are times it does matter, but most of the time.
I remember when a few of the 9/11 games got taken down.
Yeah.
Yeah, just about it. It wasn't. I think it's 2 years later. I think it's 2009.
Yeah.
I may be wrong on that, but check for me for Maple Story. I think it was 2009 because it was almost just as long, only a couple years difference before that one was put out. So yeah, it's been out a while.
2003 was Maple Story.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang. Okay. I didn't hear about it until after I started playing Lotro.
Right. When was Lotro released?
It went Ultima Online, EverQuest, Lotro.
Have a good one, Will. 2007 was Lotro. Okay.
Yeah, 2007 was Lotro.
2006 was Dungeons and Dragons Online.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that uses 3rd edition rules. That's 3rd edition D&D.
Makes sense. Maybe that would make more sense to me than Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. I want to like that game so bad. All right. You have anything else to say on this, or should we move on?
No, let's move on. That's kind of it's a good topic to get into, but we can go way far with it.
Yeah. All right.
We move on.
And start playing it till 08-ish. I don't blame you. Let's toss it over to Rundgren's Corner. I love this color. It's like a nice terracotta salmon color.
Is it? Terracotta pie. All right. Well, start off as always with a happy birthday, and I realize some of y'all are not gonna know who this is, but it is Ricky the Dragon Steamboat's birthday, which is really cool. He was one of my favorite.
Happy birthday,
kid. At that, so happy birthday! I'm sure he's gonna catch this at some point.
Yeah,
I'll come across the thing. All right. So I got some news for you.
Okay.
And we've try to keep y'all informed about things that are important, things that happen around the world, keeping an eye on the animal uprising still. But let me go over this news story. Very important things people ought to know. So when Dr. Andy Tang was a toddler, he swallowed a Lego piece.
Mm-hmm.
Well, 2. They were stuck together.
Okay.
He thought, well, I'm going to put it in my mouth and bite and separate them. Not that you should ever do that.
Right.
But he did, and he ended up swallowing them. And they grew up to be an emergency physician.
Oh, okay.
He works in Western Health in Melbourne, Australia. And he says he meets a lot of anxious parents whose children have succumbed to this impulse.
Hmm.
The vast majority of kids, like Andy, simply pass the objects through their stool within a day or so. Still, it's got Andy thinking. He wondered if there was a way to spare parents from the needless worry. I mean, sure, you can reassure parents, one by one, that they probably don't need to come to the emergency room or, worse yet, dig through the kid's poop in search of the everyday object.
Yeah.
But Andy and 5 other pediatricians, heroes, wondered, is there a way to get this message out through science? A rigorous examination. The 6 doctors developed an experiment and published results. Each of them swallowed a Lego head. According to science journalist Sabrina Imballer, they wanted to basically see how long it took to swallow and excrete a plastic toy.
Okay.
Yeah. So she sat down with a shortwave scientist and residence. Her name's Regina G. Barber. She's a scientist. That she charted the journey of the 6 Lego heads and what came out the other side. There was 3 criteria to this study. You couldn't have a previous gastrointestinal surgery.
Okay.
So if you had one, it excluded you, right?
Hmm.
This way, if you couldn't, ingest a foreign object, obviously you were excluded.
Right.
And if you had an aversion through searching through fecal matter, that was you were excluded.
Makes sense.
Yeah, they threw their heads up about it. Go through that. So the researchers measured the time it took for the gulped Lego heads to go all the way through. The time interval was given a found and retrieve time score, or fart score.
Yeah.
Might as well, right?
As you do.
Yes. So they did this, and I don't know who won. If they were racing, I do that, but they did when these got out, they did point out that put out some objects that like the little button batteries.
Yeah.
You can actually burn through an esophagus in a couple of hours pretty quick if it gets swallowed. So they did
It's
put
not
out
good.
some actual health stuff,
Don't eat
about what
those.
not to swallow. Yes. But I thought everybody should know what the sacrifices that scientists make to bring us this knowledge. And I really wanted to say fart score.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. I don't blame you.
So that's what I got tonight.
All right. Well, as part of your corner, so that I didn't have to make another overlay, we're gonna tie these two together from now on, because
Okay.
it happens right afterwards anyway.
Yes.
Let's work on your assignment.
Okay.
So, last week, you played Superliminal.
Yeah, that's a weird game.
There was... Chat got a flash of the assignment, too, because I clicked the wrong button. I think you did well.
I bless you. Oh, thank you.
I was a little disappointed to see that there were multiple chess sets that you walked by, that you did not stop everything you were doing and play chess.
Yeah, it wasn't really working out on playing the chess.
It made me sad.
I understand.
Because I believe that you truly could beat Magnus Carlsen if you just applied yourself.
I'm sure you're delusional, but go ahead.
But there's time. We can keep working on that. Yeah. We'll see how things go. Because I have 3 more games for you tonight that chat will vote between.
Yes.
And I am starting up a poll.
Yeah. All right, it's going. They can place their votes. Say 1, 2, or 3.
Yep, 1, 2, or 3. Help if I spell these right.
1, 2, 3.
I'm just going to capitalize them all. Why not?
Might as well.
All right, chat. You have 2 minutes. You can
They're
vote.
all proper.
On YouTube, please say 1, 2, 3. On Twitch, you can use the vote that is built in, or you can just say 1, 2, 3 as well.
There you go. All right, find out I'm playing. Superliminal is a very interesting game.
Yeah.
To that. Okay, yeah, I got stuck on the there towards the end. At the end of streaming.
Yeah.
Really cool concept though. I did feel like there could be a little bit more. Like that
Yeah.
games should feel like they could go somewhere. I don't know where. But very cool game.
I understand.
Very cool concept.
I do have a small conundrum here, which is that I'm not sure if Roxanne voted for number 1 just in the chat or also in the poll, because I can't see that.
Oh.
So we may have to say, if you're on Twitch, just vote through the poll. Poll and chat? Okay. Thank you for your honesty.
Thank you. That counts as 1. All right. We got 1 for that. We got 1. No, there's 1 vote for that. There's 1 vote for number 3, whatever that is.
There is, Laurent is now making the Alexa in the other room talk.
Okay.
Which is interesting.
Lonely. He's lonely.
All right. We will need a tiebreaker if no one else is available to vote.
Oh, okay. All right.
I have a plan for a tiebreaker already, which is just we
Okay.
flip a coin with Alexa and let her tell us which one it is. But
Okay.
you don't get to vote for Faith. Wait, really? Waverly's gonna send Faith a direct message. Like, quick, say you're voting 3.
Right. Send it some way.
All right. Well, we do have a tie. So, number 1 will be heads. Number 3 will be tails.
Okay.
Alexa, flip a coin.
Landed on its side.
It's tails. It's number 3. It is number 3.
Okay.
So I am excited to tell you that you have a second chance at that puzzle because you're playing Superliminal again.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I've got that loaded. I'll get that set up.
I don't know what to do if we have a 3-way tie. Do I flip 2 coins and
I don't know.
the other
Cross that
viewer in
bridge
here
when we
can't
come to
comment and
it.
says 3? Well, 3 did win, so.
Yes. Well,
But I am excited for him to play 1 at some point, so I'm not going to say what it is as usual because I think it'll be
Right.
really interesting to see his reaction there. You'll be playing Superliminal.
tomorrow.
Yeah, not next week, tomorrow. Thank you. Yeah, sorry. My brain's all over the place.
What are you doing, man?
All right. Do you have any plugs, sir?
No, if you have Netflix or something, check out that the Cabinet of Curiosities. That's a good show. Like I said, it kind of throws back to an older time in television, kind of even to like radio shows and stuff. The setup to it and stuff, really good.
Yeah.
And they do set it in different times, and it looks good. They have like one set in the 90s or one set in the 70s or 30s. You know, little set pieces through, and they did a real good job of setting it up.
Okay.
The things that were going on at that time. So I'm going to call that one out for sure.
I have a plug. It is Red Letter Media. 10 years ago, started a show called Best of the Worst. It has been 10 years of Best of the Worst, and it's a good show. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. They watch some good, some bad, some so bad they're good movies.
Fair enough. Okay. I do that sometimes.
I've seen some movies only because I saw them talk about them and was so excited for them, like Bloody Roar and Low Roar, both 2 very different movies, both very good.
Old PS1 fighting game.
Bloody Roar, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, that is where you have to put up with me saying it a lot. The chat does not, but Garbage Day comes from a movie that they watched, and it's very good. But don't forget, the 9th through the 17th, I will not be in town, so I will not be streaming anything. YouTube videos will still go up as they normally do. Filbert will never be forgotten. Rugger will be back tomorrow with another stream. It'll be Superliminal.
Yeah.
Good luck, sir.
Thank you.
I wish I liked that game more. Then Thursday, we'll be back with the TTRPG podcast, talking about some fun stuff there. And then Friday, we'll be Paint. So, Paint Death Guard.
Nice.
Welcome, Dark.
Glad you're here, Dark.
We did talk about Double Zeta this week, Dark. So if you want to jump back to that, the podcast is now color coded. You can watch the VOD and just find the part that is about Weeks, which is green, and then you will be able to find it. So
cool.
With all that said, though, I've been Trey.
I've been Rungren.
You've been Laurent, I believe, and we've been the Full Spectrum Podcast. Remember to always enjoy the full spectrum that life has to offer.